Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So, as you know, we have traveled for almost 2 months.
Yeah, more than 2 months, I think.
The Cyclades Islands.
Yes.
And we would like to tell you a little bit about our experiences, how it was, and share with you the best moments of our trip. So, how did you like the islands, Nicholas?
So the islands are all, they have everything something similar, but yet they are very, very different. So you have islands that are for hiking, for water sports. There are islands with beautiful beaches that is more, for a relaxing holiday. So it just depends what you're looking for.
Yeah, they all share the same characteristics. In whatever island you come, you will see they're all quite mountainous, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all quite hilly.
Yeah.
So for the camper van, as we did, it's not very suitable.
Some of them are more suitable than the others. The smaller the island, the steeper and the smaller the streets. so get
fun,
this in mind.
Very fun. But okay, we traveled with the camper van, and you can always solve it by renting a vehicle. So
yeah, maybe if you arrived in the port, just go to a tourist center and ask which roads are paved and which vehicle you should use to go to somewhere. So not to get stuck like we had a few times.
And yeah, what else? There are everywhere these beautiful white houses and these churches, white churches with the blue dome. It's amazing. It's so beautiful.
I think very typical for the Cyclades Islands.
I really loved it.
Yeah. It's everywhere in the Hora, like we say, in the village of the island. There's always the same atmosphere. No, it's white houses with blue decoration, and it's very special.
Where did we go?
So we started our trip in Santorini.
Yeah.
And there's a special reason for it. Why did we choose Santorini first?
We chose Santorini because we are traveling into the islands after Corona. And we started from Santorini because it was international borders were not open yet. And Santorini is known as a very, very crowded place.
Yep.
And we knew if we want to visit Santorini with the camper van and with 4 children, we need to go now.
Yeah, so we had Santorini all for ourselves. It was just Santorini and tourists with kids.
Yeah.
and some local hotel owners.
So Santorini was amazing. And then we went further to Anafi, next to Santorini.
That's a very little island, and it's more suitable for hiking, trekking. This is the island where I went up to the monastery in the morning with a beautiful, I think, 1.5 hours walk only up. So it's more suitable for hiking than for relaxing beach holidays.
I would say it's also not necessarily child-friendly because there are just not many beaches. And the beaches are not accessible.
That's the problem. They're not accessible. So you have to park the vehicle up and then walk down to the beach. So it's for small children. It's, less convenient.
Yeah. And what else? So after Anafi, we continued to
Ios.
Yeah.
And this was really cool because Ios is known as a big party island. But again, due to the coronavirus, there was no party at all. There were no tourists.
But it was great because they had many, many facilities. They were waiting for the tourists to come.
So everything was open, but there were no tourists. That's good.
Good for us because we could enjoy a lot of water sports. So Ios is really amazing. It's a very youthful island. There is a lot of activities going on, and it's a great place for active holidays. I don't think just for youth.
No, for all kind of you. Also for families. It's very family friendly because there are lots of sandy beaches with shallow water, very easily accessible on all sides of the island. So if the wind comes from one side, you just go to the other side, and you're...
That's a great tip. If you're on the Cyclades Islands, there is in the summertime always the wind.
Meltemi wind.
Yeah, it's called Meltemi. They call it Meltemi. It's kind of this sometimes quite strong wind, no?
Yeah.
And do it as a locals. If on one beach it's too windy, just go on the other side.
Yeah, look for the other side of the island. And from Ios, we continued to its neighbor,
Sikinos.
Yep.
Sikinos is a little bit like Anafi style, no? So
Yeah, so very small, not many inhabitants. They have a beautiful monastery on top of the mountain with a 360 view on the entire island, I think.
yeah.
And
It's still a very raw and authentic island. It's great to visit, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can also do easily day trips to Sikinos and I guess to Anafi as well from Santorini.
yeah, yeah. And next to Sikhinas, there is Folejandros.
Oh yes, that was a beautiful surprise for us, right?
Yeah, this is probably the most steep and hilly island. So we immediately understood that this is nothing for the camper van.
Yeah.
And even nothing for small cars. So we took a real Jeep, like an off-road car, so we could feel comfortable.
But I would say it's also not very child-friendly for Folejandros. It's the beaches are again, there are a lot of beautiful beaches, but they're very wild and hard to access.
Yeah, I mean, with the right vehicle, they're accessible. But with the camper van, I joked that if we would drive there with a camper van, we would need a helicopter to get out of there because it's just impossible.
Well, we could test if our camper is submarine like or not. No, but it's I think still, despite that we were traveling with 4 little kids, it's a beautiful island to visit. It's so peaceful and romantic.
And I think I agree with people who told me before that the Hora of Folejandros is the most beautiful of the Cyclades Islands. Now, we didn't see all of the islands, so I have to be careful. But of the ones we saw, maybe it's the most, let's say, romantic one.
It's really beautiful. Yeah. I don't know why. What does it make so special?
It's there was lots of little squares full of restaurants and of course tables outside, and it has this special flair and atmosphere of wine and dine, I think.
And also I think like it's not very commercial. It's not full of shops. They're just very discreet, and you can still feel I don't know, the authenticity there.
Yeah.
It's not targeted on tourists.
Yeah.
So what was next after Folejandros?
Next is the most beautiful island of Europe.
Oh yeah. Rated?
Yeah, it's rated, but I don't remember which magazine, but it has been chosen as most beautiful island of Europe, Milos.
Yeah. So how was Milos? Actually, when we arrived to Milos, there were already more people on the island.
Yeah.
We felt like that Corona restrictions are definitely over, because there were a lot of French-speaking tourists.
That's true. Yeah, and a lot of tourists in general. So we were not used to it, to see so many people on the street and in the bars. Yeah. But, wow, there was a lot going on there. Yeah.
And
for me, the highlight of Milos was for sure Cleftico. It's on the southwestern part of the island. Yeah. It's like a cliff formation, and it's only accessible by boat, and it's such a clear water, and we could swim between the fish and between the caves, and it was so amazing. I think it's really worth going there.
For me, it was also, I think, one of the favorite spots, because you can snorkel there. It's just so beautiful, and snorkeling in these rocks, in these cliffs actually, and it's very, very special.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very special. Also, it's really cool to see Sarakinico.
Yep.
It's very unique. It's the moon landscape beach.
Yeah, but it's, you can't have any shade there, so it's not really a beach. I mean, in the back, but on the stones you're not able to put your sun umbrella. So you have to be prepared to have some good sun protection at least.
I think it's really great place, but maybe with the kids it's not the best beach to go to, but definitely you need to see the area. We managed with the 4 kids. They also quite liked it, to see the wide landscape.
Yeah, and it's a good spot for cliff diving. So if you like to jump off cliffs, go there.
It's an adventurous.
It's from start, I think 2-3 meters, until we saw someone jumping from 30 meters high or something.
You?
The other one? No,
you?
Not me. No.
No, that was quite courageous. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing for me.
Not yet?
No. And then the hidden gem, I think
that
many
was
people
very
say
special.
it. Yeah, it's right in front of Milos. It's called Kimonos. And I think these are the most beautiful waters we have seen in the Aegean, in the Cyclades Islands.
I think it's definitely a great spot to skip the crowds because it was much, much calmer on Kimonos. It's 30 minutes further from Milos. You can even go in the morning and come in the evening.
Yeah, there's a boat in Apollonia from Milos going directly to Kimonos. And it takes you 30 minutes. So it goes in the morning and it comes back in the evening. Yeah.
And I think it's great for hikes. Again, hiking, nature.
It's again this very raw island, but there's enough to do in the little village in the Hora. There are bars, restaurants, enough animation to spend a few days there for sure.
Yeah, and the waters are just amazing. It's like a pool.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
And what next? So then afterwards,
was our last island.
Yes,
it's Sifnos. And for me, Sifnos will always be the diving island.
Sifnos was. There we dared for some adventure, and we have learned, you with Sophia, you have learned to dive.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
So I think we better know Sifnos from underwater than its land.
That's true. And we love the port area, which is called Camares, and it's a beautiful beach. There are lots of little bars and restaurants, and actually we spend a lot of time there. It was kind of our base to visit the island and every evening come back there. We felt good there.
And Camares, you have a beautiful sunset over there. Sunset that is, you can see the sun going into the sea between the cliffs because it's a kind of a bay. So you have the cliffs and the sun is going into the sea. It's beautiful.
Yeah, very romantic. Yeah.
And so this was our adventure on the Cyclades.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
But there is one more thing that we need to tell you if you're traveling with a camper van or a bigger vehicle. And it's about getting on and off the ferries. Because of course you need to take the ferry to travel through all the islands. And
where did we start? So we took it from Piraeus.
We did Piraeus, Santorini.
How long did we go?
It was 7 hours or so, but we stopped on Paros and Naxos.
Yeah.
So it took 7 hours to go from Piraeus to Santorini with 2 stops.
And from the costs?
Well, the costs are okay per person. It was like maybe 40 euros per person to get from Piraeus all the way down to Santorini, which is a long distance. But it's very expensive to take the camper van with you. But therefore, of course, you don't have to pay a hotel. So it's a trade-off between.
So I think it's a good idea to travel with a camper van in the islands.
For sure. Yeah.
But.
Be aware.
There will be one hard thing.
It's getting off and on these ferries. It's horrible.
Whoa.
Because, the camper is very long in the back and it's pretty low. So you don't have a lot of space between the bottom and, when you start to scratch things. And some of these ferries, they go you have to drive up like this. So, if you go up like this in the front, the back goes down and it scratches and you need all kind of maneuvers to get in a proper way on the boat. And mostly, we didn't have a real problem, but mostly the people on the boat are so nervous because they want to leave immediately as quick as possible. And they're like, come on, go. And I'm like, I don't want to damage the car. No damage, go.
I think maybe they're experienced or they, for them it's daily business. Yeah. And for us, it's like every time,
it's horrible.
How to manage. But you learn some tricks. So if you're traveling with a camper van or with a longer vehicle, so camper van, you will never drive straight. You will drive like in a
snake form, S form,
it's all of the big cars do it, and that's something what we have seen. They do it.
It works.
And if you feel like you're having a problem getting in, that your back is going to be scratched, they all have these carpets there, like
big
what is
thick
it?
Carpets. I don't know, and they put it in front of the tires, and you drive over it, and then of course the vehicle goes up. and then you have more space between the bottom. So
just ask for it. They will not provide it automatically, but just ask for it and insist for it, and then you should be fine.
I mean, we managed everything without scratching the vehicle too much. We scratched a little bit left and right, but not too heavily. So they're experienced, and if you stay calm and you try to listen to them, you'll be fine. But just be aware of it.
And which companies did we use? So
there are many different companies doing.
So we traveled with
Blue Star Ferries.
They're one of the affordable ones. They're like the cheaper ones. This is Blue Star and
Zante, and the third one was this
Hellenic Seaways.
Hellenic Seaways, exactly. These three are known as the most affordable ones. Yeah.
And they are like. They're quite good to get in and get out. I think we preferred rather the orange one, so Zante, because somehow the entry into the dock is
easier. Yeah, not really a problem. Yeah, and then you have the ones that go faster, like Aegean speed lines.
This is the one we took. Yes, there is also the Champion Jet, but this doesn't take.
No, but the Champion Jet is from. It's not from Aegean Speedline, it's from... what's the name again? It's Andros Jet and Champion Jet.
Well,
Seaways? No.
The one that you... Aegean... no, I don't know.
What?
So the one that you can take with the camper, if you want to get from Milos or from Santorini fast, what we did at the end, you can go again 7 hours, or you can take the speed line. And the Aegean speed line, it takes you, instead of 7 hours, in 3 hours there.
Yeah.
It's much more expensive. And it's really hard to get in.
It's really hard to get in, but it's quicker. It was quicker, yeah.
You need to know that the ports in Greece, they are not standard size. Some are lower, higher. Yeah.
Not always easy.
It's not easy, but it's manageable.
Yeah, that's true. And I think to finish our adventure on the Cyclades Islands, we have prepared a very best of video of all our memories and all our adventures. So I would say enjoy with us the last time on the Cyclades Islands, and see you next week. Bye.